On today's Monday Meetup, we talk about Bertrand completing the New York City Virtual Marathon with the support of an entire team. We talk about our upcoming Unleash the Beast webinar this Wednesday at 6 o'clock p.m. We talk about the CrossFit Games and the lessons that you can learn from this weekend's events. We talk a little bit about egg weights and how I've tested them out this last week, and running form, how that affects and impacts your running form. We also talk about our discussion with the RRCA and how we can all help in diversity in running. And finally, your weekly workout. Hit the subscribe button and the bell notification so you never miss an episode. All right, welcome to the Monday Meetup. How's it going, B? Welcome,
It's
welcome,
going
man.
great, man. What it is going. What a busy last couple of days, brother.
Yeah.
Lots happening on in the world of Race Mob.
Let's talk about it. So yesterday you actually did a marathon, huh? Like the full 26.2 miles. Fantastic job, man. I mean, I'm so proud of you. Not only you, but you motivated the entire team. So many people out there to be out there to support you in your journey, in your run, and you crushed it. I was looking at that time, man. You were crushing it for sure.
Thank you.
All right, we got Coach B.
Yeah.
New York City Virtual Marathon.
22,
crushing it.
all 22 plus.
Oh man.
Yes.
Oh man.
Thank you, everybody.
And team.
Picking up the weight.
That's right.
Running
Well,
for Lachey.
there
Yes.
you go.
Yes.
There you go.
Yes.
Absolutely.
We love you,
Go
Lachey.
Lachey.
Thank you, Kevin. Way to knock out that half
Hey,
marathon.
you guys are crushing it. Keep crushing
Race Mob!
it. Keep crushing it. There you go. See you guys.
Thank you. I mean, first, thank you. You took time out of your busy schedule to come out there and pace me. When I saw your car drive by, I'm like, man, the timing is everything. So certainly a energy boost, emotional boost, and much appreciated. And I just cannot say enough thank yous from all of the nearly 20 plus team members that came out yesterday to support me along my 26.2 mile virtual New York City marathon that was being dedicated to one of our fellow team members, Lachey Banks, who is fighting the courageous fight with Parkinson's disease. I would have loved to have been in New York next month, but this was better. I mean, it was. Just thinking about how many people were supporting the mission, supporting Lachey, and out there supporting me, with each step, man. It's examples like yesterday that really shows the strength of community, the strength of togetherness, the beauty of the running community, where everybody can rally behind one cause, where the purpose and the mission is greater than self, and just the conversations I had along the way, just incredibly satisfying in a time that, for many in 2020, we're all looking for shreds of goodness, and I got a lot of it yesterday. So thank you to the running community. Thank you, Team Too Legit. Thank you, Race Mob family. And I can't wait to pay it forward because my heart is full. So fantastic.
Let me say thank you to you for hosting the event and making sure so many people came out there. I know, and for having aid stations. Oh my gosh, because I came out and I ran my first half marathon in years and years and years. And let me tell you, I stopped at one of those aid stations and I sat down. I ate everything that was there. I had
I think we
Sour
renamed that
Patch
aid
Kid-
station.
Yeah.
We actually renamed the aid station.
The Kevin aid station. Yeah.
It was Kevin's
I ate a
station.
banana. I ate pretzels. I was like, oh, what is this? Noon. I had Sour Patch Kids. I cleaned them dry. I had everything
That's good, man.
you guys had to offer.
It's important.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, like I said, I mean, it's the first half marathon that I've run in quite a while, and I probably could have let ego take control and, try to gut things out and try to, run, but I could tell my legs were starting to cramp, and I didn't want to injure myself. I didn't want my leg lock up in a bad position or in an awkward position and end up straining something so I ended up walking the last couple of miles, and that was fine for me because, again, there is this 10% rule. It's there for a reason, to only increase, your mileage by 10% week over week or in any given week. And so I knew the purpose of my workout was endurance, was energy depletion, was glycogen storage, and that sort of thing. So I was perfectly fine walking the last couple of miles. I was perfectly fine, and I was perfectly fine eating everything at that aid station and resting for a few minutes before making it, to my finish line and cheering you on and just watching how strong you still looked at mile 22 and looking at your breakdown of your race. You actually had negative splits again, like mile 24, 25, 26. You were busting it through. So, and you did push-ups right in the middle. I know we did. We did 50 push-ups
We all
together.
did.
So
we all did. Yeah.
So
100 reps within that marathon. But thank you. And there were a couple of wardrobe change, a couple of bathroom breaks. It was a party on foot, man. I had a absolute blast and no pressure because I knew one way or another eventually I would get to the finish line. And just knowing you have support when you look to your left and look to your right, and Maria with her boombox playing great music, and Ben out there with his GoPro, and Jackie and Iraj and Becky who came out, Jody, Sylvia. I mean, I can go on. Patrick and Gloria, who actually ran, was out there, was going to do originally 18 miles and ended up doing the whole thing. Just fantastic work, though. Jackie, who got a little dinged up during the midway point, but came back and ended up doing 22, 23 miles. Just so many examples of resilience, perseverance, where people had put in the work and they were able to draw on it. And it wasn't about pace. It was about just getting out there and putting one foot in the other. And good things happen when you do that. So, and kudos to you, man. You listened to your body, pulled it back. And the last thing we wanted to do when you feel some discomfort, there are times when you can run through it. And there are times when you need to listen to your body and say, you know what, let's live to fight another day. Because what you don't want to do is to push to the point where it becomes chronic. And then it's taking you out of the run game for a while. So very good example on your side. And the same thing with Jackie. She could have pushed on with that knee contusion, but she elected to get some ice, reassess, got back on the course and crushed it. So good lessons for all of us when we deal with a little bit of body pain. So
that's right. That's right. Well, thank you again for motivating all of us. And I think that's a good segue to the next topic that we have to discuss, which is, hey, this Wednesday at 6:00 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Coach B is hosting Unleash the Beast. We are doing a 1-hour interactive session where Coach Beast kind of goes through motivation. And, we've got a couple of things in store. We've got a couple of things that we're working on behind the scenes. But, I mean, you guys can all see how Coach B has motivated an entire team, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people to go further than they had thought that they could, that they thought was possible for them. And so we're taking little nuggets. We're taking little nuggets from Coach B. We're taking little nuggets from our guests that we've had on the show, and taking little nuggets from others that we read up on and learn from. And it's a little bit about storytelling. It's a little bit about figuring out what works for each and every one of us. But yeah, I mean, I think just having Coach B lead a session, talk to us about motivation, talk to us about how we can continue to push and move forward. It's going to be fantastic. And if you can make it for the live session, we highly, highly encourage you to come out at 6:00 p.m. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. You don't want to miss out on this, for sure.
Man, you're building me up, brother. Building me up. The work start, the phone. mental preparation and motivation is very, very important. And the ability to, in many cases, just getting started. That is the toughest thing for a lot of people, to calm that negative thought in your mind and to say, you know what, I can do this, and set goals that are measured over time. But more importantly, just having the confidence in yourself and having a circle of support that is going to help you along that way when you have questions or when you want to draw on some positivity. And you'll be amongst a peer group that's going to be open to share. And I'm certainly going to, share my life lessons where I've have had moments where even self-doubt, but being able to look in the mirror and be able to dig deep and to, again, fight those negative voices, those voices of self-doubt, and make it in many cases bigger than self, much like we did yesterday as part of the virtual New York City Marathon. It wasn't about what is the pace going to be. It's about one foot in front of the other, and there's a bigger cause. I would not have been able to do that race if a fellow team member wouldn't have said, hey, coach, here's an opportunity with the Michael J. Fox Foundation. I'm battling Parkinson's disease. And as soon as she said that, I was in. Even if I had to walk every mile, I knew without a doubt that I was going to get to that finish line. And to be able to tap into that self-confidence when you know that you are motivated beyond forces that you think you have control over, it's very powerful. It's incredibly empowering. So I look forward to hearing other people's stories on how they are able to motivate, find inspiration, and find their why. And what's going to happen, and man, we're going to get out of 2020. We're going to take charge of 2021. And as much as we maybe were on that emotional roller coaster of adversity in 2020, great things in 2021. We're happy to help with that with Race Mob. The best is yet to come. So see you on Wednesday, 6:00. Bring your popcorn.
Awesome. Fantastic. Like I said, I could just sit here and listen to you talk for hours and hours. And so I'm just thankful every time I get a chance to sit down and chat with you. And yeah, this Wednesday session is going to be so cool, so crazy, so fantastic. So thank you so much for that. A couple of other things that we should get to. One, we've been testing out egg weights, or at least I have, on a number of my runs throughout this week. So I'll have the full review on these egg weights. This one is the normal egg weight, but we also had the Run Pod egg weights, and I've used them a couple of times throughout the week, including my half marathon on Saturday. The 1 pound egg weights, they're only a pound, which seems kind of light, but actually what they do is they help you really concentrate, focus in on form, especially upper body form. And so it was really interesting to me to be able to use the egg weights throughout the week. I'll have, again, a full review for you guys sometime this week up on YouTube, including how they worked on my short runs, how they worked on my medium length runs, and how they worked on my long runs. And fortunately, we were able to talk to Jay Ridgway this last week and have an upcoming podcast on running form, which you guys will not want to miss, because I had a lot of questions, especially around upper body running form, especially after using these egg weights. So you guys won't want to miss that. And you won't want to miss the recent podcast that we just launched this last week, which we had George and Gene from RRCA on our podcast. Just a fantastic episode where we talk about all sorts of things, how they're dealing with the pandemic and, how they've helped support races throughout the country, running clubs throughout the country, throughout this whole COVID thing. And then George especially wanted to bring up diversity and the murder of Ahmaud Arbery and the role that RRCA can play and wants to play in bringing diversity to the sport of running. And so fortunate, I was able to listen to the episode again, as I often do, and so many more takeaways the second, third, fourth time I listened to it. Just a fantastic episode. I don't know. B, do you have anything to add on
Yeah,
top?
man. I mean, truly, it is the episode that keeps on giving.
Yeah.
And what we couldn't be in better hands than with George and Jean. I mean, a national governing body over the running community, both very humble, both very accessible, and both deeply concerned and making changes to their organization's bylaws for accessibility, in bringing diversity on a deeper level to the running community, things that we have talked about on multiple occasions. And I know that we're going to continue our dialogue with them and probably have them back in the future to see, as much as we talk, which we can all think of the ideas and plan it out, but it's really the implementation and be able to share some of the initiatives and the impact of those initiatives. And I would love for Race Mob to be there at the table, as there are regional meetings regarding RRCA. So we're knocking on those doors. We want a voice. We want to be your voice as well. But yes, a great episode. And I mean, they're very accomplished athletes on their own. I mean, George has swam from Alcatraz to the mainland on
100 times, over 100 times. He's one of two people, right? One of two people, he said, that has swam that over 100 times and ran marathon distance or longer over 100 times too. So,
yeah, I mean, exactly.
Yeah.
That presidential appointee, exceptional. So, and Jean, by her own right, an accomplished multiple time Ironman finisher.
Yeah.
And I mean, as you alluded to, as you open up the podcast, recognized by Run World as one of the most influential people in the running community.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Correct?
Yeah. One of the top 50 most influential people in the running community. So it's so fantastic to have them on. And yeah, listen to the podcast because hopefully one of many. And I know George watches Meetup Monday often. He's following us on Instagram often. And so, hey, George, thank you so much for being on our podcast and can't wait to continue that conversation with you. Fantastic guy. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. In other news, I also wanted to bring up the CrossFit Games because, I'm a CrossFit athlete at heart. I love CrossFit. And the CrossFit Games is the opportunity for the best of the best of the best to battle it out. And so they had actually brought 5 men and 5 women to Aromas, California, up here in Northern California, just a little bit south of Morgan Hill, the original home of the CrossFit Games, battling it out over, I think, 12 different events over 3 days. And man, these guys are fitter than fit. And the workout that I thought was so interesting, especially for runners, they had this workout over at the ranch, and it was a trail run. And it was a trail run that they didn't tell the runners how far it was, what the distance was, any of that. They just said, go. And the runners just went. And it was a lot of elevation, a lot of ups, a lot of downs. I think it ended up being about 3 miles. And at the end of the 3 miles, it looked like there was a finish line. And Matt Frazier sprints it out as fast as he can to beat out another guy who had pulled up right next to him. And right as he gets across the finish line, the director says, oh, you got to go back. You got to go back to the starting line. And so it was a round trip. It was a round trip.
Wow,
and they
like
didn't know that. And so imagine this. Imagine not knowing what the distance of your race is going to be, first of all. But imagine giving it all out, going gung-ho, and then do you have enough in the gas tank to be able to turn around and run all the way back to the starting line, right? And so that's part of what I love about CrossFit is the challenges that they put in front of you are just about, can you be ready for anything that they can throw at you, anything that that can you tackle the unknown. And so I love that. I love that thought of like, okay, you just don't even know like what you're supposed to do. And even when you think you know what you're supposed to do, can you still dig deep enough to gut it out? And so it's fantastic. If Matt Frazier ended up still winning that event and still ended up, gutting it out, getting up off the
Wow.
ground, because he had
Great
actually
stuff.
collapsed over the finish line, ended up getting back up off the ground and running back. And, luckily, I think the other people that were kind of behind him, they had a little bit of knowledge of oh, there are people coming back my way. So they probably left a little bit in the tank to head backwards. But it did give some people, the opportunity to pass others, because, some of us are built for a little bit longer distance or shorter distance, or, have really thought through how do we leave enough in the tank to change it up. And so, yeah, I thought fantastic. A lot of really fun, crazy events. So if you haven't checked out a CrossFit Games, they're always, well, at least the last few years, they have been broadcast on YouTube, and they have been broadcast through a free license, so anybody can rebroadcast them, put their own commentary on them, and all of that. I think it's a really, really interesting model that a lot of other sports hopefully will adopt in the future, especially more of the fringe sports, because, hey, if you can take that footage and translate it into a different language, into your own community, into whatnot, yeah, I think it just broadens the reach a little bit. So we'll probably have some video here on this as I talk about it. With
You're giving me ideas, man. You're giving Coach B some ideas, especially with our Wednesday track workout series. So mix it up. So
I'll tell you, there are definitely some body weight workouts, some other stuff that we can throw in there. Some interesting stuff for sure. So fantastic. All right, let's get to our new members. And there are a couple of new members that I definitely wanted to give a shout out to. One was Brendan Lewis. Brendan Lewis had emailed us earlier this week. He was pretty fast in high school, actually ran a 4:55 mile, enlisted in the Army National Guard, has been, he ran cross country in college. He says he's been out of running for a couple of years, recently deployed overseas, but recently coming back, and has just started getting back on Runkeeper, looking to get motivated and in shape when he comes back to the States. So thank you for joining Race Mob, Brendan. So excited to have you on board. Can't wait to meet you more and chat with you about your goals. Also want to give a shout out real quickly to Tamara Evans. Tamara from rural California, she likes to call it. She completed her first race in 2007, but she said it left a bad taste in her mouth, and she actually stopped running and stopped competing until 2011. But since then, she's completed 81 races and finally completed her first marathon December of 2019. So she competed in the Honolulu Marathon December of 2019. And she's looking for more encouragement, more motivation, especially, coming from rural California, looking for that. So if you guys haven't joined already, please go to racemob.com/join. And if you have joined, go visit community.racemob.com. Go say hi to Tamara, especially, and tell her and give her some motivation, give her some encouragement, and help her along in her journey. And hopefully we can all support each other along our way in this journey. So congratulations, guys. Thank you guys for joining Race Mob. Can't wait to chat with you more, follow up on your journeys, figure out how we can help you out and serve you guys a little bit better. So also wanted to give birthdays. So new birthdays. We've got, let me see. We've got Rich Huber, Doris Lopez, Tim Ruiz, Carrie Deinhardt, Danielle Vecchion, and the professor himself, Jason Peavyhouse. Right on. Happy birthday, guys. I know your birthdays throughout this week. Fantastic. And just want to wish you all a happy birthday. Hope you guys are crushing it this week as well. And let's get real quick into the workout of the week. We've got 5x50 meter progressive strides. That 1 mile time trial made its way back. So we did another 1 mile time trial, a little bit of recovery effort with a 3-2-1. And then we had some push-up workouts, as has been the norm for the last couple of weeks. A 3x100 meter with 20 push-ups and a 4x50 meter with 10 push-ups, each of those. So 100 push-ups getting all the all those push-ups in with your workout as well. Coach, take us through 1 mile time trial and then a couple more push-ups in here, huh?
Yes, we feel it's very important because everyone's putting in work. There are times you want to measure where you're at.
Yeah.
So once you are able to see, it just gives you another form of motivation. We're all looking for that nowadays. So be tactful in your 1 mile effort, meaning you can't, it's a tough distance. You can't go all out and sprint it. So much like you talked about your half marathon effort, or when you're working out with the egg weights, energy management. So be mindful of that. If you're running on a flat track, if you're running on a trail, or if you're running on road with some traffic breaks, just be mindful of that initial effort because you can go too fast and not recover. But if you're a little conservative and with some strategy, you're able to surge and push and sustain a stronger effort as you cross that virtual finish line. So very important. And just give your best effort. It's training. So you can empty the tank. You can hit the wall. This is when you learn a lot about yourself, your ability to stay mentally strong as you can feel that tension. You can feel the lactic acid. You can feel your breathing starting to labor. It's 1 mile, it's 4 laps, or it's an uninterrupted trail effort. But you can do it. So just give your best effort, and then we'll circle back at some point in the next month or so, and we'll put the 1 mile time trial back on the calendar. And push-ups. They're good for your core. They're good for upper body development, stability, a lot of positives, but also the discipline by having running exercises and mixing in some form of cross training just makes you a little bit more mentally tougher for when you do eventually toe the line for another time trial or a race date, because your fellow competitors may not be doing that. And it's just going to, again, add to your gains. And also, and we'll talk a little bit about this as we get further into our training process, the importance of rest and how you can soak up your gains when you're resting versus push. So more to come on that subject. And again, tune in, plug in on Wednesday at 6:00 to hear more about, staying motivated, focused, and getting after it, which we love to do here with Race Mob.
Absolutely. Cool. Well, I mean, fantastic workout. I think a couple of folks hit a new personal best too. You mentioned like Jaime hit a personal best, and a couple of folks on Wednesday. So congratulations to all of you guys who hit a personal mile best. Yeah, I think a number of folks, right?
Jaime and Gazelia.
Ah,
yes, both. So, and I just heard from her today that she, yesterday had a 5 mile PR.
Wow.
And her best 10 mile PR as well, all in yesterday's effort when she came out to support the New York City marathon. So just great to hear those things when people are, again, with no events going on, you can still be the best version of yourself at any point in time. So congratulations, team. Jaime coming off of the
triathlon.
Yes, days after that. So
wow,
it's good to see, man. Really good to see.
Yeah, and we got to say, maybe that's in large part for you coaching them and helping them along that journey. And I know you won't say it forthcoming, but I think you've helped so many of these folks. And so just want to say kudos to you for helping them through their journey, helping them push past maybe what they thought their limits were earlier. If you guys want to get coached by Coach B, we'll have links down below. But come out this Wednesday and learn a little bit more about motivation, unleashing your beast. We'll have a little bit more information about some of our upcoming speed trials and speed clinics and foundations to running. So some of the things that we're working on behind the scenes, and come check us out. And with that, question of the day, what motivates you? What is your motivation? I think it's kind of apt with what we've got coming this Wednesday, but what's your motivation? What motivates you? And if you give it some thought, don't just blurt it out, but actually sit down and give it a minute or two and think about what deep down are those big motivating factors for you. What are those things that take you from mile 21, mile 22, when you are nearing empty on the gas tank of a marathon, or having a difficult time? What are those things that push you, that motivate you? And we'd love to hear down in the comments below. So let us know. And with that, I just want to say thank you guys. Happy Monday Meetup, and we will catch you guys again real soon. Hopefully this Wednesday. All right.
Yes. Take care, team.
Take care. See you guys.